Now the wrath of God is continuously revealed from heaven against all the ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who suppress the truth in unrighteousness.
Wow.
Boy, I'm telling you, that spirit of suppressing the truth is strong in your time.
Yeah. Unrighteousness. Yeah.
Seeing that what is known about God is manifest to them, for God has made it manifest to them. How did He do that? Yep.
Hang on a minute. Let's see. When he said, in 16, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it's the power unto salvation. What does he mean to the Jew first?
The gospel, the gospel go everywhere Paul ever went, beginning with what God did on Pentecost, always went to the Jews first. They got first choice. This is what he meant by God has made it obvious to everybody. For from the creation of the world, His invisible attributes, namely His eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood through the things that are made, nature, the universe, so that they are without excuse. Anybody can get under conviction seeing nature, and especially at various times and places. It just overwhelms you. Sometimes I'll be walking out and look up at the sky and just be overwhelmed. God, you are so great. You are so big. It's very humbling. Help me. I praise you. That's what he's talking about. Nature tells you about God, so that they are without excuse, because after they had come to know God, they did not honor Him as God, nor were they thankful. And this applies to men in the beginning, and it applies to the nation of the Jews, and he'll get into that. On the contrary, their thoughts were made worthless, and their undiscerning heart was darkened. Claiming to be wise, you see that a lot now, they were made fools and traded the glory of the incorruptible God for an image in the likeness of corruptible man and birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things, thinking they were wise. You see it on TV now, if you watch it much at all. On the news, those news people think they're so wise. The politicians think they're so wise. The professors think they're so wise. And they can't even see the obvious. Consequently, because they traded the glory of God that was given to them for images of creeping things, consequently God also turned them over to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies among themselves, who traded the truth of God for the lie, and worshipped and served the creation more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Amen. He was feeling the power of God when he wrote that. That is why God turned them over to shameful passions. Their females exchanged the natural use of their bodies for what is contrary to nature. And the males likewise, leaving the natural use of a female, burned in their desire for one another. Males committing disgraceful acts with males, receiving in themselves a fitting recompense for their error. What that means is that homosexuality is God's punishment for not honoring Him.
Yeah.
It's not merely the sin, it's God's curse. It's like God's curse of terrorism. ISIS is serving our God.
Yeah.
Those terrorists that murdered people in Bernardino, California, is serving your God. That's His curse for casting out His Son.
Yeah.
And since they did not see fit to retain God in their knowledge, God turned them over to a depraved mind to do things that should not be done. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, and full of envy, murder, strife, treachery, ungodliness. They became gossipers, slanderers, haters of God, insolent, arrogant, boastful, devisers of evil things, disobedient to parents, undiscerning, unfaithful, unfeeling, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing very well the righteous judgment of God, that those who practice such things are worthy of death, not only do them, but also approve of those who do them.